And we are going to get into all sorts of amazing fun tonight. For women, this is a Power Girl show. And for the men who love them or want to get to know them better, this is an ideal show for you. We will be right back with Cindy Warren of Bluetree Coaching. And let's get into our show. Cindy, how are you?
I'm great, Dr. T. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully well. I can hear you. You can hear me. We're ahead of the game.
It's a beautiful thing.
So tell us all about Bluetree Coaching and share with us what you want the audience to really know, because I know we only have you for a little bit of time. You're getting ready to teach a class, really exciting stuff. I wish I could be there, but let's get into it.
Absolutely. So I founded Bluetree Coaching, which is a life coaching business, because I want to help people, and women in particular, realize the life of their dreams. And so many of us are held back by self-limiting beliefs. And the coaching model that I teach my clients teaches them that their thoughts and beliefs that hold them back are optional, and that they can use neuroscience and proven coaching tools to change the way they think, the way they feel, the way they show up, and the results they get in their lives.
I love that, the way they show up. That's so important. And I think a lot of people forget that, just how important it is.
Absolutely. If we're thinking negative thoughts about ourselves, that definitely radiates out. And if we're looking to find partners or to really find authentic connection, that gets in the way. So we really have to learn how to connect with ourselves first. And I teach clients how to do that with thought work tools.
Well, what do you think? Give me a thought work tool. I mean, what do you think would be a great way for people to get started connecting with themselves?
I think a great way to start connecting with yourself is to get very clear on what it is you want. So whether it's a relationship, not just what you want, but why do you want it? How do you think it's going to make you feel? And can you start to generate thoughts that create those feelings now so that you can get into action to really get the result you want? So the coaching work teaches that there's this beautiful, intricate web between what we think, how we feel, how we act, and what we create. And so women or men, obviously too, who have self-limiting beliefs, it's awesome to hold them up to the light and start exploring them in conjunction with exploring what we really want and why. Those two things, just knowing what you want and why, and then looking at how your mind may be holding you back, are two of the most powerful tools I know.
When you see people and they're having issues with how their mind may be holding them back, because that's a common thread, and we're noticing it more and more with the onset of stress and anxiety because of all that's going on in the world, what would be a piece of advice that you would give them to sort of break through that barrier that a self-imposed barrier that they're using to hold themselves back?
Yeah, well, I think it's so true that we're just at a moment in time where people are experiencing more stress and anxiety and overwhelm and feelings of being out of control. And it's super important to first recognize that. Then I think there are proven science-based tools that help us navigate our nervous system so we can tone our parasympathetic nervous system to just sort of calm down. And from that place, look at what are you thinking and why are you thinking it? So we can take for example, like the pandemic. It's an objective circumstance that we're all dealing with. What do you make it mean? How can you still show up for yourself and take care of yourself and tell yourself things that help you just feel better about yourself so you can really show up more fully? So it's really a combination of knowing how to calm your nervous system down. So that's a direct way to impact the stress and anxiety. And then also look at what are you thinking? Like, what are the sentences in your mind that are making you feel all the things you're feeling? And then I teach clients how to reframe them. And it's not positive affirmations or positive thinking. It's much deeper work than that. It's ferreting out the negative thoughts, seeing really what they create, and then finding thoughts that we can believe and that we can work to believe about ourselves. It's a systematic process.
Yes, I know. I do something like that in my protocol date therapy, and also in DrTranquility, where we stop, breathe with compassion, think of what we're going to say, and then engage. Do you find that's present in your work as well?
1000%. It's that little pause between stimulus and how you respond to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what you're describing is mindfulness, which is really at the heart of a lot of what I teach, practice, and do.
It's exactly mindfulness.
Yeah.
And I do like to speak with people in a way where they can hear me, because when they're very nervous and they're suffering with anxiety, or they may just be a bit anxious, and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, they need to hear language that they're accustomed to, that they can relate to, and that gets in, that permeates the conscious mind, so that it takes them down a level and they're calm.
Right. And what you're describing is like sort of creating a sense of safety and security for people.
So but it's also helping them to create one within themselves.
Right.
Which is key, because when I'm not there, a lot of them reach out to me all the time anyway, but when I'm not there, they need to be able to do this for themselves. And I find, as a practitioner, I want them to take this with them when they go. So they're in control. Do you find that as well?
1000%. I want to teach tools that you can then go use for the rest of your life.
Very good.
And so when I'm in a coaching process, I'm there for you. I'm your accountability partner. I'm the voice in your head until you're ready to just take all that work on yourself.
Right. And in the work, what is one common thread that you find? Because there's always a common thread that we see when people are coming in to see us.
Yeah. A common thread I find, especially with my women clients, is there's always a little whisper of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy.
Yes. Yes. And you are enough.
Yeah.
You are enough. You're more than enough.
And how do we convince ourselves and our very human brains to really embrace that? And it can be step by step. It's not just repeating mantras, or although that can be helpful. But it's not just that. It's really looking at what's the root of it. What do you make things mean? And how can we bring you to a more neutral place before we take you to a more positive place? Because it's very hard to have positive actions arising out of negative emotions.
Yes.
We have to learn to be the master of our emotional lives.
Yes.
To have positive results.
And one of the things I find with date therapy, I know for me, that's so helpful, and it's a different type of protocol, but we use not just mind-body medicine. We're also using hypnotic, well, it's not hypnotic anesthesiology. It's, if it is, they need to see me for DrTranquility. It's hypnotherapy though. And that way we can bypass the conscious mind, get straight into the subconscious and tackle these things from that level. And that way, when they return, they are calmer. And the cognitive steps that we take, they understand how to utilize them. And it ties into what we've implanted in the subconscious. And it's a very different way of working. So when you do your work, what do you find is the best approach?
So my work tends to be a little more analytical, in that we really do, like, I'll have my clients do brain dumps and thought downloads and tell me all the things you're thinking about a particular circumstance. And let's really see what that's creating for you. And so the first step is really building awareness.
Okay.
And we can sit there for a while and just see what is because of what you think. And then we move to, okay, what's the result you want?
Right.
What do you need to do to get that? How do you need to feel to do that? And then we get into like the real nitty gritty thought work, which is
That's
reframing
wonderful.
thoughts, practicing thoughts.
Okay. Did you say, I'm sorry, I cut you off a little bit. Did
No.
you say reframing thoughts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good. What is one thing that you want people to know about Bluetree coaching? Something fun that they can expect when they come in to see you.
They will be supported and challenged.
Okay.
Coaching work is hard work. So for people who are ready to really see real results, expect me to hold safe space and to hold up a mirror so you can see a little more objectively what's in your mind. And the human brain wants to be all jumbled. And sometimes we spin in indecision or confusion or things that actually make us feel stressed. And it's really helpful to have an objective outside person just help you untangle and show you what you're creating.
That's wonderful. And we all need a bit of that. Cindy, what I have to ask, what was the impetus for you? You know, what was the thing that helped you? Because you've had it, you, like myself, I have as well, had many different versions of career, right?
Yeah.
And then we came together a little bit later and tied them all in together. So what was the impetus for you starting Bluetree-coaching.com?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've definitely had a varied journey. I'm a lawyer, an HR consultant, a yoga and meditation teacher, an author, and I founded Bluetree Coaching, which, as you suggested, is at bluetree-coaching.com, because I've always been concerned with the question of what makes someone live an intentional life. So how do we get out of autopilot and into like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? What do I want? And going about getting it in an intentional, systematic way. And just my fascination with that question for myself led me to want to share what I've learned with others.
Right. I think I just lost my screen there. Okay. That's wonderful. And we're so glad that you are doing this work. I mean, you're amazing. I've known you now. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I want to talk because I know you have to go soon. So I want to make sure we get in radiate.
Great.
So tell us what was the impetus for writing the book and what the book is about, what people can expect.
Yeah. So the book Radiate, R-I-D-I, and then the number 8, is a book about the 8-limb philosophical path of yoga. And so I've been a yoga practitioner for almost 20 years, a teacher for many years, and I felt like a lot of the students I was seeing in the world viewed yoga just as a physical practice. And it's so much deeper and richer. And I really wanted to share some of the philosophical underpinnings that yoga provides that also really answers the question that I seek to answer with my coaching work, which is, how do we create a meaningful, fulfilling life?
Right.
And so in the book, I approach it through the lens of yoga. In my coaching work, I approach the very same question from the lens of neuroscience and thought work. And I think they complement each other.
They do. So what is the best location for someone to find your book if they want to come buy it?
Amazon.com, Radiate by Cindy Warren.
Good. Well, that's definitely a good start. And then they can catch you at bluetreeyoga.com. Bluetree. Here, I'll let you say it.
Yeah. So it's bluetree-coaching.com.
Okay.
And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, Bluetree Coaching. And I'd love to hear from anyone that wants to know more, learn about how you can help them.
Well, we're just so honored and blessed that you are with us today. It's always fun to have you.
I love speaking with you.
So we are just so excited, and I'm so grateful that you were able to hop on and just share some more, because I think your message is amazing, and I want everyone to get it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Radiate by Cindy Warren. Cindy Warren, thank you so much for being with us, sweetie.
Yeah.
Have a good class.
Thank you so much. I'll speak with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So that was Cindy Warren of Bluetree-coaching.com. You can pick up her book, Radiate, on Amazon. And she is a very practical, amazing coach. We have lots of different types of coaches on the show, and in my network of friends and colleagues and practitioners that I recommend to you. And I have an amazing woman who's going to be coming up now. Her name is her name is Angel Trin. And I have her in my mind as Pennywise Traveler because that's how I know her from Instagram and the work that she does. And she has a twofold business. She talks a lot about her background is in finance, and she's been on the Today Show and many other programs. And then she also talks about travel and all of the tips you can, to find deals. And this is a perfect time of year to have her on. We're headed into Thanksgiving and the holidays. And I know some of you will be traveling. A lot of people are staying home and doing Zoom, which is good. But a few of you are hitting the road. So I wanted to have her on today so that she can collect this together and tie it all in and share it with you. She also does some podcasts and Instagram live talks. So she's going to fill us in on some of that too. Hello, Angel. How are you,
Hi,
darling?
how are you?
The Pennywise Traveler.
Oh my gosh, hi.
I'm just so excited and honored and blessed that you could be on.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking to you today.
Good. So tell us all about it. What you got?
Okay.
So tell us
So
about
my name's Angel. I'm
travel.
Pennywise. So I talk about money and travel hacks. To date, I've been in 35 countries and all 7 continents. So if you have any questions about traveling to any different destinations or how to save money to get to a different destination, I can walk you through that. A lot of my hacks are through using different credit cards and different websites.
Great. So tell us some of the hacks that you've got for Chase cards.
Okay, so Chase,
I know that's a big
it
one.
works. So for you have to use the credit card in 3 different ways. If you want to keep it easy, you just get the Chase Sapphire, one of Chase Sapphire cards, which is Chase Sapphire Preferred or Chase Sapphire Reserve, and that one has car insurance. So this year, I found myself, and of course, it's easier to use your car insurance that's on your credit card already, because why pay for it when you already have a insurance through your credit card? And if you're traveling a lot, that helps a lot because car insurance per day is about $10 a day. So if you go on a 10-day road trip, you're already covered by the car insurance through Chase, because if you pay a $95 annual fee, pretty much save $10 a day times 10. So you save like $5. So once you reach a certain minimum, then you save your money from there. And then what I do with my Chase cards is I work them in a different hybrid. So you have your Chase Freedom, which has 5 times the rotating categories. So this quarter it was for PayPal and Walmart. So a lot of vendors, they accept PayPal. So you get 5% back up to $1,500 for all your total purchase for PayPal.
Wow.
And then you have Chase Limited, which is 1.5 times the points for like ordinary purchases. And you get 3 times the points if you go to the drugstore.
Wow. Now, do you recommend joining those? I know with Chase, they have a lot of deals in the back end with Starbucks and a lot of other companies. Do you recommend those?
So it's funny. So Chase, they do have deals like that. So as soon as you sign into your Chase app, you have offers, which I think you're referring back to. You can easily stack on those offers. So I'll give an example. Starbucks is a very popular one. Last time I went on a road trip with friends, we used Airbnb. So on my Chase Freedom Unlimited card, it gets 1.5 times the points. And then I use the portal for the Chase offer for 5% back. And then on top of that, I went through the Delta Airlines portal, and I also got Delta miles for booking the Airbnb.
Whoa.
So it's all about stacking. So I guess I'll walk you through the process because that was a lot to digest.
It was.
So if you're going somewhere, for example. So first thing I did was I went through the Delta portal. So I got Delta miles to get to Airbnb. And then the next step is I went to my Chase Freedom Unlimited card for the Chase offer, kind of like what you just said for Starbucks, but I did it for Airbnb. I activated the offer 5% back. And since my Chase Freedom Unlimited card gets 1.5 times the points, I stacked 3 ways to get the points for travel.
Wow. So
yeah, it sounds like it's a lot, but once you get into the tone of things, like for me, I've been a travel hacker. So I got my first credit card in like 2014. So for me, it's kind of it comes in like it's so fast in the back of my hand. But if you explain to someone the first time, they get so like taken back from it.
A little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's fun though, and it sounds like it's really worth it because you're getting all this money back.
Yeah. So especially this right now Chase is having a promo. So on your Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which I have, you get 3 times the points for groceries up until April or May, I believe. So you can also pay yourself back for 1.5 times the points, so you get a 4.5x return on grocery purchases.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's all about playing the different ways that credit cards have. So I'll give you another example. So Amex is a competitor of Chase, but it depends where you're going, right? So Amex, they have Delta as a partner. So if you like, let's say like you live in Atlanta, then Delta would be your top choice, right? Because Chase's domestic airline that they have is United. So like if we're like in New York, so it's a little bit different for us because we have all the major hubs. We have American Airlines, we have Delta, we have United. But for someone who might be from Atlanta, they want to get the Delta one. So it makes more sense for them to get the Amex card over the Chase card. So it just depends on where you live and everything for finding out which best credit card works for you. And luckily for us, since we're based out of New York, we have all the 3 major.
Everything.
Yeah.
We are very lucky. Okay, we're just going to pay some bills, and we will be right back with Angel.
Thank you so much.
Pennywise at Pennywise Traveler on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, so it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the major platforms. On Twitter is PNYWISTRVELER, just because Twitter, they have a maximum for characters, but everything else is Pennywise Traveler.
Okay, cool. We'll be right back.
Thank you. I'll stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Dr. Tranquility, Lydia of Dr. Tranquility Talks. And I want to take a second to tell you about one of the friends of the show, Kelly Ray Coaching.com. Kelly Ray is a holistic life coach. In fact, she believes a holistic journey to vibrancy. She understands the connection of mind, body, spirit, and the power it has in healthy living, and how all of these interconnected areas can positively affect other areas in our life. She's a Reiki master teacher, has a BA in education and an MBA. She has always been a teacher by nature and loves sharing her knowledge. Stay tuned and look out for Kelly, Kellie, Ray, RAE, coaching.com.
And we are back with Angel Tren. And Angel's one of my buddies who was we did some things together for a date. We did a date therapy program live in New York just before the pandemic. How lucky was that?
We were so lucky because we caught all this we got the event before all this madness happened where everything's shut down. And now it's so hard to have events and everybody's going virtual nowadays. So it's a new pivot that we're going to for 2020 for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any advice about that when using the Chase card or the American Express card?
Yes. So if you have American Express, you get a free 1-year membership for Calm. So you get the free premium Calm membership for 1 year. So I'll give you an example. If you have an Amex corporate card for your workplace, you get to have that benefit as well. So it doesn't matter if you have your personal card or your corporate card. You could still get the 1 year free for meditation for Calm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
especially because it gets so expensive. And another hack that I have also that's health related is Peloton. So Peloton, if you have the Chase cards, because I'm going to take turns doing each credit card. So if you have the Chase card, you get the free credit for Peloton. So depending on which card you have, the Sapphire Reserve or the Sapphire Preferred, it's a different amount for the credit. So it's up to you, right? So like if you have Chase, you can use the Peloton. If you have American Express, you can get Calm. So in both ways, you still have something that's health related that you can use for like meditation or working out in Peloton.
That's fantastic. Okay, so back to travel, because I love travel. And I think there are going to be some of us who are going to be, well, I'm not, but there are going to be some of us who are going to be hitting the road in the airwaves, in the air, not airwaves, but the air. I'm on the airwaves, they're in the air, to do some traveling. What else can you recommend to people? Because I know you do so much traveling globally. And what is something just general information as a traveler that you would recommend?
Well, for me, so when I did all my road trips, I bought all my hand sanitizer, my Lysol wipes. They told me that they cleaned them like at the restaurants and the hotels and the Airbnbs and stuff. But I didn't trust them. I brought my own stuff anyway. So I would say if you're gonna go traveling, just bring your own stuff, because it's one thing for a restaurant or like anywhere else, like a car rental place, to tell you that they're gonna clean the car. But for me, I want to do it myself because I want to do an extra step to make sure it's actually clean. So I would say, like, when I was going to different restaurants and stuff, even in different cities outside New York, for the most part, they have their Lysol wipes in the front and their hand sanitizer in the front, so you can use them to clean your table. So I would say, like, it's okay for most of the places I've been to where I was visiting for restaurants and everything, that they're still open. They have limited indoor capacity. So for me, I wanted to eat outside as much as possible, just because there's more air circulation. So I don't really trust indoor as much as outdoor. But if you want to eat indoors, like Cuomo, I think he said it's only 25% capacity for New York, though.
Oh, yeah. We're shutting back down, actually.
Yeah, it's increasing for the rates. So we saw it happen in Europe. So for Europe right now, they're like shutting down a lot. So like it's probably gonna happen the same thing for the US. So NPR, they did this podcast episode a few weeks ago, where
Okay.
they're comparing the Spanish flu versus coronavirus, and they said that it's the same thing, where they have what's it called? It's a winter virus. So it might come back for a second wave. But some exciting news is that earlier this week, Pfizer, they just announced that there might be a vaccine.
Yeah.
So we're in good hopes that this might happen soon, where we have a solution.
Very exciting. I was thrilled to hear about Pfizer.
Definitely, because it's so scary right now. Like for coronavirus, in the beginning, you had to like know someone to get a coronavirus test, and thankfully, like I believe it was May or June that Congress, they passed where anyone could get a free coronavirus testing, regardless if you have insurance or not. So in the beginning stages around March, before the bill passed, it was kind of scary, because like no one, like, it was so hard to get access to a test unless you knew someone, or you had like enough money to pay to go to like a doctor or something, and not everybody has money to pay for a copay and pay for the testing.
Especially these days.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. I just posted this on my Instagram, I think like a week or so ago. So
Okay.
when I
So they can find. Oh, excuse me. They can find it.
Oh no, it's all good. No worries. So when I got tested for coronavirus, I think I got tested in September. When I got the bill, I didn't pay a single penny. But when I got the claims in Aetna, it was over $300. And to think like a normal person that you would pay over $300 just to get coronavirus tested, and think about it, you're in and out of the hospital within 1 hour. And to think about, if that bill did not pass from Congress, how expensive it would be for a normal person who doesn't have so much money to pay to get coronavirus tested.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been some help with, the stimulus checks that have come, the check that came a while ago, and there's been talk for quite some time now about another one coming.
Yeah,
and so we
definitely.
hopeful, because a lot of people do need to make money.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too, because a lot of the small businesses, they closed down for so many months. And to think about it, like you think about New York, right? You easily pay $5,000 for rent for that rental space, easily $5,000. And to think you're closed for 3 or 4 months, of how much money that you owe. And if you're an immigrant, let's say like you came here from like China or somewhere else, you came here opening a small business, and then you lose 3 months of profit as a small business owner, because you couldn't open the restaurant to have full capacity. You couldn't open the massage place. You can't open the nail salon. To think about like all these immigrants that come from like all these different places, and then they open businesses here, how hard they hurt them. Because if you weren't born into wealth, where you're a small business, where you came from a different country, it hurt you so bad.
Yeah.
Because New York rented ears for a lot, or anywhere to rent out an office.
Yeah, easily.
Easily, if not more, like more than
Yeah.
$5,000. And to think that Cuomo, I think he opened it back in June for most of the businesses. So think if you're closed April, May, and then part of June, like let's say like you just closed for 2 months, that's $10,000 that you already lost.
Right.
And to think about all the small businesses, some of them might not even come back because they don't have the money. Not everybody has enough money that they saved up, or that they can even loan out to get enough money in time.
That's true. That's true. So let's hop back on travel. Are there great deals for big hotels? Because I know a lot of the hotels don't have enough people to stay in them now. And you can get some killer deals just by calling the hotel itself. Especially if you look online and you look on some of the travel sites, get the best rate they've got, and then go back to the front, call the front desk, they very often will match it.
Definitely. So I have a hack for that. So American Express is the best one to use for that. So if let's say you have Marriott, right? So Marriott, they have a portal called Rakuten. So you can go through the Rakuten portal. You can either get cashback or Amex points. So then my friend did it the other day. I think it was close to 6% or close to 10%. So it's pretty high for Marriott. And then think about it. The second step is if you have a corporate code. So my workplace, we don't have a corporate code for Marriott, but we have corporate deals for Hilton. So it depends on your workplace if you get Marriott deals or Hilton deals or IHG deals. It just depends on your workplace, because a lot of workplaces, if you work for a big company, they have corporate codes that you can use. So then the first step is the Rakuten portal to get either cashback or Amex points. And then the second step is that you have a corporate code from your workplace. And then the third step is that Amex, if you have an Amex card, under the offers tab, they have a lot of good coupons you can use right now for Amex offers to get the discount for the hotel.
Oh, wow. That's
amazing. And then on top of that, what I would do next as a fourth, to Google around to see the different prices, see that it's cheaper somewhere else, call the hotel directly to see if they can offer you even a cheap what's advertised online, because right now, like any business, they want business, so like they'll try to take you in if you try to negotiate with them. And I have had friends who've done this in the past where they tell them like, hey, this is what my corporate code says for this price, but since you guys are going through COVID right now, do you guys have any price negotiations I can negotiate with you for a cheaper price, because right now it's really hard for me to travel, and like I'm trying my best to support your business. Like you have to negotiate some kind of script with them, and a lot of hotels, they will take it because they want the money, because otherwise closed. Like you think about what happened in Times Square, and I believe it's IHG or Hilton, one of the big hotels, they closed down because there's no one going to Times Square in New York because they're not getting enough business.
Right. No, it's true. So you can get some amazing deals. Does American Express or Chase Bank have anything in their deal component, or any hack you got for that?
Okay, yeah. So for Chase, Chase is a partner with Hyatt and Hyatt and Marriott. So if you have Chase, the best reward for you to get is Hyatt, because you could transfer points directly to Hyatt. But the problem is that Hyatt is not everywhere. So like you think about Hilton, they have a bigger print. So it just depends. But if you get a Hyatt deal, that's usually the best redemption you can get for hotels through Chase. And then for Amex, they have Hilton and Marriott. So you can also get Hilton and Marriott deals through American Express.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it just depends on your credit card. So it all goes back
to... I'm so glad I know you.
Sorry. So again, it depends on your credit card, right? So like, do you want Chase or do you want Amex? Because Amex, the partners are Hilton and Marriott, but in Chase, the partners are Hyatt and Marriott. So it just, again, it depends. Which one do you like more? Do you want the Chase card because you live near United Airline, or do you want the Delta one because you're near American Express and you can transfer points to Delta? So everybody has a different way they're going to approach this. Like for us, we're very lucky because we're in New York. We have Hilton, we have Hyatt, we have IHG, we have all the big hotel brands in New York City. So it's a little bit different for us. But so if you visit New York City, you're in luck because you have all the major hotels here.
Yes, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, Chase also has IHG. I forgot about that. But like, yeah, Chase has IHG. So they have like the DoubleTree brand for so IHG is oh my gosh, I'm blanking on IHG right now. But they have the IHG brands through Chase.
That's amazing. Well,
yeah, so again, it depends where you're going. So the first step is Google where you're going. So I'll give you an example. I was supposed to go to Missouri. I believe it was St. Louis, Missouri early this year, but the trip got canceled just because I've never been to Missouri, so I wanted to go to somewhere else. And when I double checked the hotels, they didn't. Huh?
You're so cute.
Well, I mean, I've never been there. Sorry, it was Kansas City, Missouri. Sorry. Different city, but I was supposed to go to Missouri for a conference, so they didn't have Hyatt. The nearest Hyatt was 25 miles away, but then they had the other brands. They had Marriott and Hilton. So it depends on where you're going. Again, it's like, do you want to, like, if you're going to road trip across the US, it makes sense for you to go to Hyatt, right? Because you're going to have a car already, so like you can just easily go anywhere. But if you're just flying for a conference, it makes more sense for you to find the hotel brand that's in the city center. Because why would you why would you go out of your way just to go to the hotel if you're only there for a few days?
Exactly. Well, Angel, my love, you are amazing, and we loved having you on today. Angel Tran, I'm trying to get my glasses on my head. Angel Trent. And can you tell us, how can we find you?
Okay, perfect. So my handle, Pennywise Traveler, is on all the major platforms. So I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have Facebook. But on Twitter is PNYWISTRVELER. So it's a little bit shorter just because Twitter has restriction on the characters. And my blog's at pennywisetraveler.com. So you can find.
It has been so amazing having you with us. I'm so honored and blessed that you did. Come on.
Please, thank you so much for having
me.
me.
We're going to get you back before Christmas if we can.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bring you back the holiday deals so you have holiday tips on how to save money.
That sounds amazing. So Angel Trent, again, the Pennywise, not the Pennywise Traveler. And you can find her everywhere. If you have any trouble finding her, find me. I'll get you to her.
Sounds perfect.
Bye, love.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So coming up, we have Amy. We have Elizabeth Yarnell. Excuse me, I almost said Amy Cheryl. Elizabeth, I was speaking with her earlier today. We have Elizabeth Yarnell, and she's going to come in and tell us all sorts of good stuff. We love having Elizabeth on also. It's a great show, as I mentioned. You're getting travel tips. You're getting self-help tips. You're getting self-esteem tips. You're getting food and diet tips and things you can do to feel better and alleviate your bloating. It's a beautiful day with Elizabeth Yarnell, ND, the doctor. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, Lydia. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, beautiful. So what's shaking, Bacon?
So I loved the last segment there with Angel. That was so interesting. And I would love to actually kind of feed off of that and talk a little bit about parasites, since she was talking all about travel. I don't know how you feel about that. We didn't talk about this in advance.
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay. Yes. So one of the big focuses in my clinical practice is about parasites. And the CDC estimates that 7 out of 10 adults are carrying around some hitchhikers inside of them. Some people can tolerate them better, or they can tolerate them for longer, I should say. Most parasites, once they get into your system, they don't really like to go away on their own. They like to take up residence and repopulate and go along their merry way. But our white blood cells, which are our guards, our soldier cells, do not like foreign invaders. And so when there are parasites present, which often for me, and if you want to, I'd be thrilled to go through my parasite history. Often when I travel, I end up picking up parasites myself, but you can pick them up super easily in the United States as well. And I have stories of that too. But there's something to think about as you go along your travels. And if you start to notice you have health issues, then that could be at the foundation, at the basis of what's going on in your body.
That's amazing. So you're saying that you're a super host. Not for Airbnb, but
that's so funny. A super host. Yes, in that I have hosted many different parasites, but no, in that I don't host them anymore.
Oh, good. Now, what did you do to combat it and to get them to go away?
So I put all of my clients on an herbal parasite protocol for a month when they first start out working with me, because I have seen in my practice so frequently that hidden parasitic infection can be at the root cause of so many chronic inflammatory issues. And if you have an autoimmune diagnosis, like I'm diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but it could be anything, or you just have chronic things going on like digestive upset, irritable bowel syndrome, you know that anytime medical doctors call something a syndrome, it means that it just means a bunch of unrelated symptoms that they don't know what's happening. And that IBS can often be traced back to parasites, but medical doctors aren't looking there. Crohn's disease, any kind of bowel disturbances, disruption, chronic constipation, even if you don't have a diagnosis of anything. Or like for myself, I had a decade where I pretty much had diarrhea every day, every morning, first thing. But I loved it, I have to say, because this was my decade of my 20s, and I really just looked at it like, this is maintaining my weight. I'm not gaining any weight, and so I'm not complaining because I'm having diarrhea, but it's just one time a day, and it's in the morning, and it's not affecting my life in other ways. Not that I'm advocating that for anybody, but I'm just saying that when parasites are in the chronic phase of an infection, we can really live with them for a long time and not really think about what's going on in our body or identify that as something going wrong.
Right. So what do you recommend? Because people are traveling, and I also want to get into the diet. We talk about partnerships and relationships of all kinds on this show, and so family is a relationship. This is the holidays. So what is something that you recommend to combat the parasites? And then what is something we should be not eating, perhaps? Or I know you have some yummy digestive enzymes that you recommend. Tell us about that.
Yes, I'm a huge believer in digestive enzymes. So what would I recommend for parasites? I do recommend an herbal parasite protocol. The one that I use lasts a month, and it contains 4 different herbs and a dosing calendar so that you really crescendo up and it saturates the cells the tissues in your body to get rid of the parasites, which like to hide in between all the cracks and crevices inside your body. How can you avoid parasites? Actually, this is a really good time for that because hand washing is a big way. But even by following the most stringent hand washing or hygienic protocols, sometimes parasites still get in. I don't know if you remember a number of years ago when all those people died after eating cantaloupes. And it turned out that they died from actually listeria, which is a bacteria, not a parasite. But the problem was that they didn't wash the cantaloupe before they cut into it. And so the listeria clung on to the knife blade and followed it on to the flesh of the melon. And then the person ate it and got sick. So the best way to keep yourself safe and healthy with food is to wash everything before you cut into it. An avocado, a banana, anything you're going to cut into, you should absolutely wash first so that your knife doesn't pick up anything that's hitchhiking on the outside and travel it along to the flesh.
Now, what are some foods you think? Because I know I've been asked this question a couple times since you were on last, of people because they love the idea of losing the bloating, especially if they're dating. So they wanted to know more about your enzymes and if there's any food that they can avoid so that won't happen on the date. If they've eaten something earlier in the day or the day prior, what can they do?
For me, if I was looking to be more comfortable on a date and to look my best, I would avoid anything made from cow's milk or dairy products, as well as wheat, just to be sure. Although in my practice, what I see sometimes things that you might not suspect may make people bloat. That's a little bit longer of a process to try to identify those items that may make you bloat. But 2 of the most common items in our world right now that are making people bloat are dairy foods and wheat products.
Okay. Wow. And I eat wheat. I got to stop eating wheat. I just started. I wasn't doing any wheat. And the other day I had bread, which I haven't really had in a long time. And I noticed I really got full tummy, we'll say.
That full tummy. Yeah, it's funny with wheat for me. Wheat actually makes me sleepy. And if I eat something with wheat, within 2 hours, pretty much I will be asleep. And it doesn't matter where I am. I have woken up underneath the dining room table at a dinner party before. The dinner party going on all around me, but I had wheat during the dinner, and I had slipped literally down and stretched out underneath the length of the day and gone to sleep.
Oh my God.
No memory of it. I have woken up on restaurant floors after the same experience.
Oh my gosh.
And the next day for me, wheat will bloat me up the next day. So immediately it'll put me to sleep.
Okay.
And it's the next day when I can't zip up my jeans.
Well, that's a good sleeping tablet. At least
I'd have to get a whole new wardrobe if I did it regularly.
Yeah. Are there any tips that you can give for Thanksgiving dinners? You know, even if people are not traveling, and many of us aren't, what can we avoid food-wise?
Avoid on the Thanksgiving table. I think probably the most toxic item on a traditional Thanksgiving table is that green bean casserole that is made with cream of something soup, probably cream of mushroom soup or cream of asparagus or something.
Okay.
Those cream of soups, first of all, in the name, we have dairy. It's just a huge dosage of dairy.
Right.
But those cream of soups, if you look at the ingredients labels, there's a lot of stuff in them. And my mantra is always whole foods are better than processed foods.
Okay.
And those cream of soups are full of all sorts of chemicals and things like that that I think are best to be avoided.
Great. So these are wonderful tips. And do you have anything else you want to share just before we wrap?
No, I was thinking, I think for our Thanksgiving celebration this year, we do have family members who live in town. We're not going to get together for a dinner, but I think we're going to each make a dish and deliver a little bit of it to all the houses around.
Idea. That's not a bad idea. Even if someone's in a different city or town or state, maybe even country, it might be difficult in a different country to ship, but ship it to them. And you can ship and share.
Yeah, absolutely. Baked goods ship really well. My mom used to send me chocolate chip cookies at college all the time that she baked up fresh. And she was in Colorado and I was in Maine, so they ship really well. The turkey, sliced turkey, not as well.
I know my mom was cutting edge for vegetarian back in the day when you used to have to go to health food stores down back alleys. You know, they weren't on the main street. And she would always ship my box, but it was always herbal. It was, you know, very healthy. And my college roommate, her mother would ship junk, and she loved to be healthy, so we would switch. You know, but it sounds like your mom had it going on because you got the good stuff.
She was great at just Toll House cookies. She would just make Nestle Toll House cookies at home and then put them in a baggie and ship them off.
Oh, well, this is a great idea for our listeners because we do a big audience with the on-demand. And so this is something that you guys can really take part in. And those who are listening live on Friday at noon, when you hear us nationally in 12 cities and on streaming and podcast platforms. So think about this shipping idea through Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell. She is the founder and coiner of the shared shipping.
It's the progressive Thanksgiving dinner, right?
It's
like one of those parties where you have a different course at every house in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So Dr. Elizabeth, tell us where we can find you, where you can be found, and how we can reach out. I know you have an Instagram. I know you have a lot of things. Why don't you share it with everyone?
Of course, I'm all over social media, and it always says something about Elizabeth Yarnell. But my website is always my home base, elizabethyarnell.com.
Right. And what's the best place for people to be able to reach out to you if they want to contact you directly via email or
The best place is by email. There's a contact form at elizabethyarnell.com. I have to tell you, if you Instagram me, it might be 6 months before I see that message. I'm just really overwhelmed, and it's just a lot to keep up on all the social media. Yeah. So Facebook, I'm a little faster, more like 2 weeks. But the best way to reach me is email.
Guys, fill out the contact form for Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell. Dr. Yarnell is also a sponsor here at the show, full disclosure. And so is Cindy Warren of Bluetree Coaching. We love having Dr. Elizabeth on. She's always cheery and fun. And no matter what the topic, she makes it sound fun. She made Parasite sound good. So
sorry for going off on that tangent today. I just had them on my mind.
Wow, it was good for travel. You were piggybacking. So thanks again, sweetie, and we will see you soon.
All right, farewell.
Bye. Visit Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell at elizabethyarnell.com. Get that contact form filled out so that she can really get back to you and be there for you. She's there for you. So we have another amazing guest coming on. I told you guys it was amazingly full show with wonderful girl power, and for the guys who love them. And as you know, we talk about conscious dating and all types of relationships and partnerships of all kinds. And so now coming on, we have Jess Junton. Am I pronouncing your surname right, sweetie? Junton.
Juntanen.
Juntonen. I knew I was going to do that.
It's a mouthful.
Juntonen. Yeah.
Yay!
Hi, I got it right. So
Thanks.
we're just so honored you came on. And tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm so honored to be here. I'm a self-ascension intuitive counselor, meaning I support people in coming home to themselves and their own enlightened freedom process. I'm a divine feminine rising coach, and I have a podcast, radio show also at Oneness Talk Radio, where we both are family. Yay! Yeah, so yeah, just really here, really just holding that light. And of course, I really love the girl power that's been on the show, because the divine feminine is my jam, and seeing women leaders coming together and sharing with each other really lights me up and inspires me. It's definitely one of my passions.
It's all over your face.
Yeah.
We're an inside out kind of show because it's based on my date therapy protocol, and that's an inside out protocol. So it starts with self, and then we work outward to have the dating relationship experiences that we want to have, and hopefully partnerships of all kinds, sometimes business partnerships, sometimes loverships, sometimes marriageships. So how is your protocol going inside out when you talk about the divine feminine? Can you break that down? Because not everyone, we're on Oneness Talk Radio, but we're also through our wonderful distributor, a national radio show in 12 markets, Friday at noon.
Amazing.
So, thank you. So if you can explain what divine feminine means, because some of our listeners won't be familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you talk about going from the inside out, right? And that's relationships, that's everything really comes from the inside. And, I think about this a lot. Like, what does that mean when we say divine feminine? Those words get thrown around a lot in spiritual community. But yeah, the aspect of ourselves, and this does not matter if you are a man or a woman, we all have the divine feminine and masculine components. And the feminine is really about receptivity and nurturing. And women, typically carry this more predominantly, but many of us have shut that off too, right? We've shut that down in order to be in that action, moving, passion mode. And of course, we want to have both of those components, but it's really about knowing our intuition, our empowerment that comes from the wisdom that we carry within us, and how we access that. And it can seem it's very natural when you watch little kids, but a lot of us shut this down. We don't listen to that inner voice. We learned to shut that down at a young age. So coming back to it is very tender and empowering, really, to say, yeah, I'm going to listen to that voice from within. How do I turn down all of those voices from outside that try to inform us, right? And find the inner voice. So really, it's about that, I think, at the core.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, Jess and I, Jean Tenen,
yes,
and I are new friends, but I loved her instantly. And we're working on a project with the founders and directors of Oneness Talk Radio, Lady Master Lady Kira, and Shri, her husband and life partner. And they're doing this huge WWA Global Summit, and it's really a festival. It's a festival of love, of feminine power, of all power. And it's going to be a 3-day event that's taking place March 19th through the 21st. And Jess, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's so exciting. WWA Global is a movement. It's like that world we all want to be possible, where I know so many of your listeners are tuning in. It's like, we really do believe in building a better world. We want to see a better world for our children and our children's children.
I
So
think you've shown that in the election.
right. Yes. Hallelujah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
said it.
Yes, you said it. Well, we have a woman VP. Woo! Right? Let's just, yes. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is that moment where we're building this new world, a new consciousness. And this summit really is, like you said, a festival and a celebration of bringing forward consciousness, bringing forward that unification of the masculine and feminine together in balance and harmony, and bringing together people around the world. There will be a physical presence at Tosa Blue Mountain, Ecuador.
Yes.
Dr. Lydia and I will be there.
Yes. This
Yes.
is the website too. Tosa Blue
www.global.com.
www.global.com and also tosabluemountain.com to see what the resort and retreat look like.
Yes, because it's fantastic. It's amazing. I have been there, and the energy there is amazing. You are way up in the Andes Mountains, gorgeous views, clear air. You will feel restored just being there. And then the virtual component, it's going to bring people together from all around the globe.
Yeah. And this isn't just, it's on Zoom, therefore it's worldwide. No. We have leaders coming in every country or many countries who are taking over that section of the globe. So it's going to be a huge festival. We have Grammy Award winning musicians coming on board with meditative and alternative music. It's very beautiful, very healing music on many levels. So it's going to be an amazing event. And again, that's March 19th through the 21st. And you will see the lovely Jess, and you will see me, and you will see Kira and Sheree. I combine them.
They are one.
They are. They really are.
Yes.
Kira Ra and Shree, her partner, life partner and husband, and you're going to see them and all that they bring forth. There's an indigenous community there called the Kanjari, who have not really come out and been among non-Kanjarians. And they're opening themselves up and sharing as well. So it's going to be just phenomenal. Jess, where can everyone get a hold of you?
The best place to go is selfascensionstudios.com. And I'm on social media under Self Ascension Studios as well. So if you do a search for it, you'll find me. Yes.
Oh, good. And I'm playing a song called Ascension by Maxwell, which is perfect for Jess. Her intro and her outro. Jess, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a beautiful day.
Hi, love.
Bye.
And one last thing to get into, our other sponsor that we haven't heard the commercial for today because we were just too busy. We have a couple of them. One is Money for Likes. And this is a creative platform. You don't just get to like someone and what they're doing, you actually give them money. And you can sign up for as little as $10. You'll find it on Google Play. You'll find it in the App Store for Apple. And just go in and find something that you like and you give them as little as a penny or as much as $1,000 if you want to do that. It's a wonderful new kind of crowdfunding of sorts. It's just on the money. It's literally. So that's called Money for Likes. It's the app that pays you back, baby. And then we go to Hal Blattman, that's MD, Dr. Blattman of Blattman Health and Wellness. And his site is blattmanhealthandwellness.com. Those are the Blattman Health and Wellness Centers. They're anchored and located in Cincinnati with a flagship office here in Chelsea in New York City. And also he has a presence where he teaches at Bastille, a course, and he also sees patients there about 3 to 4 times a year. So he's out there a little more now. He has a new grandson. So that's Blattman Health and Wellness, and he's here to help you with all things myofascial injury. So he helps you bring that back to a healthy, healing, functioning, pain-free place, which is wonderful. And that covers carpal tunnel and migraines, low back pain, rotator cuffs, you name it. He can work with you and help you get back. And he integrates his practice with alternative and healing modalities as well as traditional medicine. He has a background in emergency medicine and environmental medicine and occupational. So definitely check him out. You'll find him at blackmanhealthandwellness.com. And you'll find me, as always, at DrTranquility.com. You will also find me at Date Therapy. That's DATE Therapy, THERY. Did I say that right? THERAPY. .com. And you'll also find us if you check out consciousdating.co. They all land in the same place, and you're going to be able to enjoy. You think a therapist could spell therapy, right? You're going to be able to enjoy all things dating. The show has been on every major date therapy protocol. Has been on everything from the BBC to UK Glamour to Red Book and Cosmo. It's been at abcnews.com, and as DrTranquility and DrTranquility protocols, I've been on The View. So there's stuff out there. Just look for Google DrTranquility, and I'm going to pop up. And then I can help you. If you want to meet with any of our guests at any time, and you can always find us on YouTube on demand under Oneness Talk Radio. Fridays at noon, we go live nationally. So we are a combined show, and I need to run. Bye, y'all. Love you. See you next week.